It is difficult for you to accept the fact that you are a God, even though you've been told that you are one. Is it because you are seeing yourself from a frozen state of consciousness? What if I told you that you feel limited because you think you are just your body? When you think about it seriously, you would be convinced that your body is a three-dimensional vehicle you need to interact with matter in this visible light spectrum so you can understand this three-dimensional manifestation of God, which we call the physical world. How else could you have known that fire burns if you didn't have a body? How could you have known that air sustains your life, that water moisturizes and earth grows your food? How else could you feel love, empathy, and compassion? How else could you feel pain, comfort, and pleasure? How else could you shed tears and laughter? How else could you feel tiredness or sadness or happiness? Your body's interaction with the physical environments feed your consciousness with data that will guide your journey back to merge with the source. However, the kind of data you collect on the physical plane depends on knowing what you are and not who the world is asking you to be. Remember that. Instead of the substantial data, you are being lured to follow certain paths and make choices that focus you on your lower self, which is your sexuality, your emotion, and your physical appearance. But these are all limitations that arise from the basic desires of the physical body. Meanwhile, you are the union of the body, the soul, and the spirit. The soul is your individuated consciousness, while the animating or organizing principle is the spirit which gives you life and has no dimension. The spirit has no beginning and no end and cannot be understood with your limited sense perception. It is what we know as God. So you are the middle entity, the soul, using your body to understand physicality and using the information acquired to journey back to the spirit source, God. Of course, the cemetery is there to remind you that you will not leave here with your body, let alone your baggage. If you believe that everything ends with your death, well, good luck, my friend. Have you observed the beliefs, practices, and lifestyle of your ancestors? Have you seen that they knew what they were, they understood their environment, and they also knew where they would go hereafter? Today, what do you and I know? Most of what we know about ourselves, our environment, and where we will go from here is a borrowed concept started with stories that construct the way for us to follow. And with that information, see what we give to our souls, see how we treat our bodies, see the way we treat each other, our environment, our water bodies, and our trees and our land. What do you think we will do when we finally go to where they have told us we will go when we die? Don't forget that as within, so without. What we are in the inside is what we express outside. Epictetus the philosopher said something many centuries ago. He said, anytime we go to a banquet, we have to remember that we have two guests to feed, the body and the soul. What we give to our body, we presently lose, but what we give to our soul, we keep forever and ever. Unless you don't have a soul, but if you have one and knows that it is an energy that cannot be created or destroyed, but can be transformed by its quality, then what the philosopher said makes sense. So the understanding here is that what you give to your body, what you give to your soul is what you will take into the abode of the spirit, which is God, not the body. Now the question is, what have you been giving to your soul? Because that is exactly what you will take along. Focus on knowing yourself first, my friend. Don't wait for others to know you. Please hit the plus button and follow for the interesting part of this episode in the next one. Thank you.